Hello, welcome to Newsbeat. We are live from our studios at Northridge in Accra. My name is Kenneth. Jesse here, stories making headlines today. Staff of Metro Mass Transit Limited on sit-down strike, demanding the immediate removal of their managing director and two other deputies. We bring you details of that story. Also coming up, former national chairman of the MPP, Freddie Blade, defends his decision to represent 4 accomplices of Aisha 1. And later, we'll take you to Malawi, where cases of cholera in that country have more than tripled in the last 2 months as authorities struggle to contain an outbreak that has killed more than 117 people thus far. Details are coming up shortly. Stay with us. Hello again. Let's begin today's bulletin from the Ashanti region, where business owners and other traders at the Dum Central Business District of Kumasi are still on their sit-down strike against government tax regime, which is making them worse off. The traders addressed a mammoth press conference on Wednesday, October 12, 2022.
To take all its revenue at its point of entry. We know in this country there are two most assured ways things get to the country: through the port or through the manufacturing. Take all the charges you want to charge at the port of entry. Take all the charges at manufacturing and leave us alone. We are ready to pay our corporate income tax. We are ready to pay our payee, but we can't pay the VAT again. We strongly recommend the government to adopt more sustainable and business-friendly tax policies that will help government to optimize its revenue mobilization whilst promoting business growth. If government will listen, this is what we expect. You know, we've been kind of increase the tax net, open the tax net. If government hit to this policy, automatically the tax net will be expanded. Government will be able to increase its revenue mobilization. The adaptation of our proposition will promote healthy and even pricing within the markets. We want to assure our traders and all other well-meaning Ghanaians of our resolve to continue to use all legitimate avenues available to us, including closure of shops, demonstrations, in articulating the aspirations and challenges of business for the good of our economy. But we shall not, and we shall not allow any persons, group of people, or state institutions to wreck our toys. Ever and ever allow any persons, groupings, institutions to wreck our toys. As a matter of fact, GRA should stop harassing people. The sitting of our shop is not sync with our businesses. We are in Ghana. No one should intimidate us. We are not criminals. Do what is right and enjoy your revenue. We can all attest to the fact that government VAT revenue has fallen below expectation this year. When government is unable to actualize its revenue target from our markets, they assume businesses are either evading taxes or under declaring sales invoices. Government attempts to survey the situation has led to government venting its frustration on the few identifiable businesses to make up its revenue for. When they come to us, we are compelled to pay them from our working capital.
Let's stay a bit more in the Ashanti region and speak to our resident correspondent, Abdul Basit Suleiman. Abdul Basit, they look very defiant. Have they given any indication when they are going to reopen their shops?
Well, Ken, good afternoon to you and good afternoon to our viewers. The leaders just concluded a meeting and they've extended the closure of shops to Friday just to see if the issues will be addressed. According to them, the structure and administration of the taxes in this country is not supporting their businesses. The policies that the government has introduced in terms of taxation, according to them, has been something that affects their operations because the tax system is charging them triple in terms of what they pay along the value chain. So they are demanding that government should take all its revenue at the point of entry from the port and other domestic places like the factories and manufacturing companies, because most of the retailers who usually come and buy goods from them are charged extraordinarily, which is affecting their businesses. They also recommended to government to adopt more sustainable and business-friendly tax policies that will help the government to optimize on its revenue mobilization while it promotes business growth, because it is very difficult for them to adopt what government is doing right now. And more shops across the metropolis have also joined. Bansima Asafo, part of this protest, have also joined this protest, and all the members here too have complied with the regulation by their leadership, and they are all going to sit down until Friday. Today that they concluded the press conference, they want to sit down till Friday to see if my authorities would address their issue. If not, they would take a second action.
Right. Edum is like the Manhattan of Kumasi. How are customers feeling the brunt of the closures of the shops?
Exactly. So over here, those who come and buy items from them, there are other chains like the port headquarters, the truck pushers, the truck drivers who have been impacted negatively. Both of them end their daily bread daily. So assuming the person comes today and the shops has been closed, it means the whole day the person is not going to get his daily bread. So they have been affected badly over here. Some of them are very grieved and are appealing to the stakeholders to, as a matter of urgency, try and resolve the issue so that they also have their daily bread over here at the Edum.
Right. Have you seen any shop that was closed yesterday or Monday that has been opened today?
No, not at all. Even those shops that were open on Monday have all been closed as I speak with you right now.
Abdul Basit, glad you could speak to us to find out what the situation is like in the Ashanti region. Thank you. Now, former national chairman of the MPP, Freddie Blay, has defended his law firm's decision to represent 4 Chinese and a Vietnamese national who have been arraigned before a criminal high court for the alleged involvement in Galamsey activities. Blay and Associates has just released a statement in response to the public outcry over the firm's decision to represent the Chinese nationals in court. Let's get on to our video and get a detailed understanding of the statement. Right, so here are excerpts, and it says, the first to third accused are legally resident, law-abiding persons in Ghana. Our clients have no business relation with Aisha Wan except the fact of purchasing the supermarket in 2017 when she was first repatriated to China. Aisha Wan has had no further dealings with our clients upon her return to Ghana. 2, our clients operate a supermarket business that stocks regular goods and some specific Chinese groceries, making them a reliable shop for Chinese and Asian patronage. A supermarket, no matter how vibrant it is, does not rip into an illegal mining activity. 3, for the avoidance of doubt, Aisha 1 was arrested at a different time and place to our clients who were minding their business at home when they were picked up in the early hours of 14th September 2022. It would appear that our clients are collateral victims of the pursuit for Aisha 1 and the campaign against illegal mining. 4, the names of persons that some media platforms have reported that we are defending are completely false. We have no engagement with Gao Jinxin, Liu Qijian, Habin Go, or Zhang Jinping, who are noted as Aisha 1's associates. We also do not have any engagement with Aisha 1. So what really is the MPP's position on this situation where party bigwigs are defending persons who have been accused of carrying out illegal mining activities? Well, let's have a conversation on the back of that. And joining me on the telephone lines is Evans Osei Yabwa, who is the Eastern Regional Communications Director of the party. Evans, welcome. Tell us what the party stance is on this issue.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon to your cherished viewers. In our situation now, we find ourselves with an apparatchiki of the New Patriotic Party in the person of our immediate past chairman to use his outfit or chamber to defend Aisha 1. That decision to me is gradually becoming an unpopular one. What I want to state on record to use your platform to state on record is that the decision by our former chairman, Chairman Blay, to represent the 4 accused galamseyers is his sole decision, is a personal decision, or that of his chamber. We in the New Patriotic Party and the Nana Addo-led government do not have anything whatsoever to do with such a decision. So I want to put on record this afternoon that the party disassociates itself from the decision of our former chairman. But secondly, government has shown a lot of commitment. The Nana Addo-led government has shown a lot of commitment in fighting galamsey, and will stop at nothing to ensure a successful fight. What we need now is to call on all meaning Ghanaians to come on board for us to be able to fight this menace. And this explains the decision by government to as it were, deploy the Attorney General himself to conduct the case or handle the case. So government commitment in fighting this menace is known in public. But the decision by our former chairman to defend Aisha 1 is his sole personal decision.
Evans, you have clarified that it is indeed his own personal decision and not the decision of the party. But are you not worried that this could paint a negative picture of government's fight in the eyes of the public, since on one hand, government appears to be fighting the menace while party stalwarts are also defending those perpetrating the illegality?
That is true. This afternoon, we have a lot of developmental projects by government that we need to spend time to make it known to the general public, but this is where we find ourselves. What I want to say is that the fight against galamsey is a process, is not an event. For such a big man in the party to use his outfit to defend Aisha, we have to distance ourselves from it. But you see, what we also have to note is that I will send a word of caution to some of our leaders who are in one way or the other engaged in this illegal mining, that what they are doing gradually is in a way disgracing government. They have to be cautious because we have a generation that will inherit from whatever we are doing as leaders. We need to preserve our forests and our water bodies. So if somebody in government or any party person also gets himself or him or herself involved in galamsey, it paints a bad picture. But looking at the posture of government, looking at what the investment that government is putting into the fight against galamsey, we need to achieve something. But what I want to assure Ghanaians is that the government is ready and is calling on all stakeholders to come on board for us to be able to fight this galamsey war.
Right. That's an interesting conversation you've brought up, Evans. Can you mention the name of any leader within the MPP who is engaged in illegal mining?
My brother, what we also have to note is that there's clear evidence that the NDC promoted and benefited electorally from galamsey in the 2020 general elections. We need to note that as well, because we have videos circulating where we have Kweku Buahi, the deputy communications officer for the NDC, who went to the Galamsey site to incite Ghanaians who are involved in this Galamsey business to vote for them. It is known that we have some party people who have license to operate as small-scale miners. It will not be proper for me to be mentioning names, but they are all Ghanaians and they are involved in the business of mining. It is not wrong for an individual to go into small-scale mining. What is wrong here is to be involved in illegal mining. There are instances of where government has bent excavators of the National Women Organizer of our party. You understand? So government is committed to fight Galamsey, but the cabal is huge. The people involved. Can you imagine, even in Ghana as we speak now, the small-scale miners, or quote-unquote illegal business of mining, contribute not less than 43% of gold produced in Ghana as we speak. We have over 1 million people involved in mining businesses. So fighting it is very difficult. That is why I'm calling on all Ghanaians, assembly members, the clergy, everyone to come on board for us to be able to fight this. Where we are heading towards, it is dangerous, my brother.
Right. Evans Osei-Abuah, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Now, Dr. Ishmael Norman is the president for the Institute of Security, Disaster and Emergency Studies, and he's also joined me for a conversation on the back of this to tell us what he makes of the NPP's former chairman, Freddie Blay, defending Aisha Wan's 4 accomplices. I understand we do not have him on the line, but you can log on to our social media platforms. We are live on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana and on Twitter at Metro TV GH. We're also live on DSTV channel 277. Let's hear from you. What do you think is the NPP on course to fighting the Galamsey menace? Well, let's hear from you. We'll try to connect with Dr. Norman to find out what he thinks. Right. So Dr. Ishmael Norman is the president for the Institute for Security and Emergency Studies, and he's joined me on the telephone lines for a conversation on the back of this. Doc, welcome to the show. What does the NPP's former chairman, who left office not long ago, Freddie Blay, defending Aisha Wan's 4 accomplices, mean for the fight against Galamsey?
I think everyone is entitled to be represented by a lawyer. So that representation in and of itself is not an offense or anything untoward, impropriety. The problem, however, is that there seems to be a deliberate attempt on the part of NPP lawyers and NPP party to basically cocoon everybody with information, particularly sensitive information, to be controlled by NPP lawyers. Because you see, clients are very obedient. When you tell your client that I don't want you to talk to the media, they wouldn't talk to the media. And so if there is some kind of revelation that may be damaging to NPP, by circling all the accused persons with NPP lawyers, you basically build a firewall around them. And therefore, no opposition lawyer, for example, will get opportunity to go close to them to get some kind of information, which during the normal stream of law practice, that kind of information can leak into the public domain. So I think it creates the impression that NPP is building a firewall to protect something that Aisha Wan and her cohort of criminals are hiding or they possess. Because it doesn't make sense that the chief protagonist in this saga is being represented by a staunch NPP lawyer. And then the immediate chairman, my God, this is a poor decision on the part of NPP, on the part of Honorable Freddie Blay. I think they could have hired somebody else and maneuver in the background to manage the whole thing and pull the strings so that their puppet lawyer, even if it's an NDC lawyer, so long as they sign confidentiality agreement, they will not be able to disclose anything, So for me, it's a protest.
Right, and I just spoke to a rep from the Eastern region who is an executive of the MPP, and he's saying that decision is solely in the interest of Freddie Blay, and the party does not support that. Do you think the general public will really buy into that?
Of course, it's true that the party doesn't tell lawyers which client they should represent. And so I think it is correct that that decision is exclusively the decision of Honorable Freddie Blay. However, having been one of the decision makers, critical decision makers of MPP, just recently as chairman, I think it's a poor choice of decision. Right. If this was the kind of skill he was showing as a critical member of the national executive of the MPP party, he has not done the party well at all.
Right. Grateful for your time this afternoon.
Come, sir.
Let's now bring you 3 facts of the World Cup. Fact number 1, the fastest red card in the World Cup history was by Uruguay's Jose Batista. He lasted full 56 seconds on the field during the 1986 game against Scotland before being sent off with a red card. Fact number 2 is that 2 World Cup finals have been decided on penalties. That is Brazil, who beat Italy in 1994, and Italy, who beat France in 2006. The third one is that Qatar is the least populated country to have hosted the World Cup. We're back after this break. Don't go anywhere.
There's no emission of pollution that is going to come from the factory. The margins on any production that we are going to do is very insignificant.
Hello again. Now, since the inception of Empire Cement Factory in the Weija community, residents have been raising concerns over its location in the residential community. However, speaking on the issue, CEO for the factory, Nana Obokumata IX, said the factory is an eco-friendly factory which is not harmful to residents.
The CEO was speaking at its environmental fund donation of assorted items to the Weija Municipal Assembly following the recent floods which displaced several people and led to the destruction of properties running into millions. Management of the company also took the opportunity to debunk allegations that the factory is polluting the environment through its operations.
There is no emission of pollution that is going to come from the factory. The margins on any production that we are going to do is very insignificant. So any emissions that we allow to go out affect our production costs and affect our profit. So we are not here for any iota of truth that we are going to allow emissions to come from the factory that is going to start work. I want to put a seed money of 10,000 each month for the community. So therefore, this money will grow. It should be managed by the community or the MC or the MP. So that for every month, I'll put that money inside the account that is going to be open.
We are here. We are not doing any bad things. We are not like the others says that we are doing Ganamasi. We are not that person. We are the entrepreneurs to build a factory to help the economy of this country. I'm pleading with the government to give us opportunity, to let us start operating, to see our performance, to see if truly we are polluted or not polluted. I only need this opportunity.
The Member of Parliament for the area, Tina Mensah, and the Municipal Chief Executive of Weija, Patrick Kumo, received the items for onward distribution to displaced residents.
We are very much grateful, and God richly bless you. We believe that your grievances have been noted, and accordingly, we'll forward it to government for them to see how far best quickly they can assist so that we can have this factory operation. We are of the belief that when Empire Cement is operating, most of our youth in the community will have some jobs to do, which will reduce the job issues in the country and in Ima municipality as well.
Right, so let's bring you our headline story for the day. Our staff of Metro Mass Transit Limited are on a sit-down strike, demanding the immediate removal of their managing director and 2 deputies. Now, my colleague Elvis Andor is there and is joined me live for a conversation on the back of this. Elvis, welcome to the show. Have they given you any reasons why they want these people gone? Hello,
well,
Elvis.
Ken, just as you've mentioned, they are not happy with the way management is actually taking care of the company, or perhaps to say the Metro Mass Transit Limited. They say that management has neglected them and also not looked on them with some kind of good attention, and also the vehicles that they work with are in a deplorable state, to which management has not done anything to rectify the situation. I'm here with the Senior Staff Divisional Secretary, as chairman actually. He's George Imprim, and we will have interactions with him to know what exactly they want as members or concerned members of the Metro Mass Transit Limited group. You're welcome to Metro News. Share with us what actually is your issue here and why are you on sit-down strike?
First of all, I would like to say a very big thank you to the president of the land, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for what he has done, or for the continued work he has done ever since he assumed office as president. In fact, in 2017, he gave us 84 Hongai buses. In 2018, he gave us 50 Daewoo buses. In 2020, he gave us additional 49 Daewoo buses. In 2022, if you can remember, at the State House, we launched 45 new VDL buses, and I think arrangements are that by the end of the year, we will get additional 55 new Daewoo buses. So it should rightly tell you that the president has Metro Mass in mind. But unfortunately, the people that he appointed to take care or to be caretakers of Metro Mass are sinking this company, and we cannot sit and look idle whilst these things are happening to us. That is why we decided to let the president know that Metro Mass is sinking.
But definitely you would have to communicate that to your senior executives or any board that takes care of the company. Have you done that, and what was the response?
In fact, we have done that severally. As in August 15th August 2022, I assumed office as the Senior Staff Divisional Chairman. We had the opportunity to meet with the board on September 6th. We had an interaction with them. The next day, I called the board chairman and I asked about our grievances that we presented to him. He told me that he wants to put up a committee to look into those issues. In fact, I have called him afterwards, and I think that it's politics as usual.
So are you trying to say that the committee that was put up to investigate into the issues that you presented to the board has not been up and doing with the attacks?
There has not been any committee so far as I'm concerned, because no one has invited me to present anything to them.
And you have not seen anyone come here to monitor activities here?
Not at all.
Okay, so share with us. We've seen some of the buses in a deplorable state. Others are also left ajar. Is it that you've not reported these buses to the authorities, the appropriate authorities, to come work on it, or you've reported and nothing has been done about it?
In fact, when what is happening is that ever since I've been in Metro Mass, in fact, from 2008, I've been in Metro Mass. We're operating a depot impress system where branch managers have some kind of impress to manage when it comes to small repairs that are supposed to be done on the buses. When Mr. Albert Edubuaini took office, and with the help of the internal audit manager, that system was scrapped off. So now, if you have any petty cash or any petty repairs that you need to do, you have to write to head office for head office to come or bring in something before you would be able to, or you would allow you'll be able to work on those buses. And these things, so far as we are concerned, are creating a whole lot of problems because some of these repairs are petty. Starter, alternators, fan belts, brake pads, hub. These things are petty that we think that if the depot managers were to be given impress to work on those things, it will be done. Some of the buses too have been earmarked for scrap that we expect we are expecting approval from Flagstaff House or something.
So how long, not to butt in, but how long are you going to stage this sit-down strike, or what are you going to do after today?
In fact, the demands of the union are that we expect the president to wage or to remove the executive. If these things are done today, the next day you see us working.
Okay, so until the president responds to your call, you will not actually forfeit what you're doing now, and you allow the government to lose with regards to people who patronize the Metro Mass Transit until the president comes in to help you with your demands. That is what you are going to do, right? Yes. Okay, so that is Echo George giving Amos George Imprim giving us details about what the unions will be demanding until the president comes to give them a possible answer and a solution in order to call off this sit-down strike as they've started. Reporting for Metro News, Elvis Andor, Metro Mass Transit, Accra.
Well, thank you very much, Elvis. Now, several residents and owners of public toilet facilities in the Ablekuma South constituency have been summoned over the spillage of fecal matter in drains at Choko Chemuena. While some members engage in the cleanup exercise, others also questioned the need for the initiative.
What does it mean? Is that to say that they are not part of the people who put fecal matter into the gutter?
Yes, please. The issue is that there was some times ago that we had a report that they were discharging into the drain. So we came and investigated. We got to realize that it was true. So this one, they have a filtration system that they put here. This is the main tank where this tank is. There's a main tank there. So the filtration, it filters this thing so that the water will come here and then get to this place.
So it filters the fecal matter, yes, and then only the water
comes here. So when we got to realize that, but the water was not treated. So we took them to court, and the court ordered them to close it down. So we came and then we supervised them for them to block the line that is coming from the main tank into the chamber. So when this is the line, this is the pipe that is coming from the main tank into the chamber. So they block that chamber, and then the pipe that is from the chamber into the drain, they also cap it. So and that's the cap. You can look at the cap over there.
I see some capping.
Yes, so the water cannot flow into the chamber.
So where does that water go?
No, the water doesn't go. The ghost of this one, it is rain water that comes here. But this water doesn't come. That's how it is.
So how would the dislodging be? Or there is no...
They dislodge it from this place. Yes, this is the place that they dislodge from. Yes.
So, like he explained, the reason why this has become one of the bones of contentions is because most households have been fingered in putting fecal matter in their gutters. Because we visited several homes where their sackaways or their toilets have been connected into the various gutters behind their buildings, and most of them look like they are in hideouts. So you would need a third eye to probably figure that out. And this public toilet where one of the persons who earlier on had issues with their drainage, but subsequently they were made to correct it, unlike the other homes. Another issue is how they keep their rubbish. So the health officer just realized that most of the rubbish they make here, most of the filth they make here is kept under the poly tank. So he's called on some of them to get rid of all the filth. And this is what we've been saying, because most of the filth has been hidden. And then at the end of the day, all these ones will end up in the various gutters and then get them choked. So he's getting him to get rid of all the filth. And this is what most households do. So once you are seen or found culpable, you are being given sermons so that next time you will not repeat this, from diapers to...
Cancer Awareness Month is proudly brought to you by Reflow Sanitary Pad and Baby Pull-Up Diaper and Givers Floor and WC Cleaners.
The Federation of Herbal and Traditional Medicine Practitioners in Ghana are advocating for more research into herbal-based medications in order for them to get certification for their drugs. In a Metro TV expose on the treatment of breast cancer using herbal medicine, practitioners lamented their neglect despite the survival rate of patients who opt for herbal treatment. There's more in the following report.
Including breast cancer is usually long and painful, requiring several months of strict adherence to medical guidelines directed by medical professionals.
We are well aware that there is the orthodox way of treating breast cancer, and there are other forms of treating breast cancer, including the use of herbal or traditional medicines. In Ghana, the 1992 Constitution stipulates Act 2000 number 575 to guide traditional and herbal medicine practice.
Usually, the trust people have in herbal-based medicines is shrouded in myths and disbelief of their potency. In the era of breast cancer awareness, the Ghana Federation of Herbal and Traditional Practitioners Association are touting the difficulties facing their practice. General Secretary of the association, Nana Obri, however, confirms the efficacy of herbal drugs.
We have instances where our products has been collected for all this research, and at the end of it, it doesn't come back. So the word I can use is, I don't think they have the full capacity to do that. And nobody should blame the practitioners, because we are ready, we can do everything. From where I sit as the General Secretary, I have evidence of my members who have treated a lot of cancer patients with all the cancers.
We are here in Ada. We are at Vedo Herbal Center. This facility is known for the treatment of breast cancer. We are here to see for ourselves how the treatment has gone on for women over the past years, and also listen to some success stories to demystify whatever people have.
Business News is next. And in business today, inflation for September has reached 37.2%. That's according to the latest figures from the Ghana Statistical Service. According to the service, food and non-alcoholic beverages were the major drivers of September inflation. The implementation of the utility tariff in September 2022 could also have influenced the surge in inflation. Prior to the announcement of the September inflation, the Bank of Ghana adjusted upwards the policy rate to 24.5% to help fight inflation, though some analysts argue the increasing rate of inflation is largely supply-driven. Let's listen to government statistician Professor Samuel Enim.
Consumer Price Index and rate of inflation. Consumer Price Index for the month of September 2022 stood at 140.6. This culminated in a year-on-year inflation of 37.2% for the month of September 2022. Disaggregating this from a food and non-food perspective, food recorded a year-on-year inflation of 37.8% and non-food inflation 36.8%, indicating a 1 percentage point variation between food and non-food inflation for the month of September 2022. From a domestic inflation, otherwise locally produced item and imported items and inflation perspective, we recorded a 4.9 percentage variation, as imported items recorded 40.7% for the month of September 2022 relative to 35.8% for locally produced items, or domestic inflation 35.8% for the month of September 2022. We do not present the inflation rate for the previous month and for the year-on-year because of the new series that we've released today. So for purposes of comparison, the chain link has to be done to enable us do the historic comparison. From a regional perspective, we identified Eastern region recording the highest rate of inflation of 47.1% and the Upper West region the least inflation of 22.9%.
The government has set a 5-member committee to lead the financial sector stakeholder engagements to reach a deal with the International Monetary Fund in Ghana's debt restructuring. The group will examine views from financial sector players to deal with issues in the financial sector before reaching a deal with the IMF for an economic program. According to the Finance Ministry, the committee is chaired by Albert Essien with Simon Donu as chair. The other members are Alex Siedu, Mabel Nyakwa, and Peter Enti. Let's seek some clarity on this and speak to Nana Otu Acheampong. Good afternoon, Nana. Welcome to the show. Help us understand what these 5-member committee will be doing exactly.
Okay. Now, as you said in the intro, the IMF is recommending that Ghana looks at its domestic debt to kind of restructure. Now, the domestic debt will cover the whole financial system, and the financial system is divided into 4 subsectors: the banking sector, the capital markets, insurance, and then the pensions. So this committee that has been set up is a consultative committee which will be consulting with these 4 sectors and then try and come to some advisory for the government team that will be negotiating with IMF. Right. So that is their role. Now the first 2 members, that is Albert Essien and Simon Donu, represent the banking sector. Then Alex Siedu is for the capital markets, Mabel Nyakwa for insurance, and then Peter Enti for pensions. So basically, that's what the whole issue is about.
Right. So how different is this committee from the engagement that happened in Washington, D.C.?
Very different. They are not involved at all. This committee is consulting with these 4 sectors that is in the financial system that I've enumerated. And so they will be taking the views and concerns of these parties and then taking them to the team currently in Washington who will be coming back to Ghana and then take it from there.
Right. Nana Otu Acheampong, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. In other business stories this afternoon, Enforcement Office of the Ghana Revenue Authority has closed down the game shopping outlet at the Accra Mall for non-compliance of the invoicing system for value-added tax. Phil John Corte will be here with the latest in sports after this break.
It's already 49 past midday in the Ghanaian capital, Accra, and it's time for your sports. My name is Phil John Quarte. Manchester City and Real Madrid have qualified for the next stage of the UEFA Champions League after yesterday's interesting matches. Let's see the results on your screens before we get to the fixtures. AC Milan were embarrassed by Chelsea at home. Dynamo Zagreb drew 1 with Salzburg. Celtic were at home. They were beaten by Leipzig by 2-0. Then Schalke Donetsk drew 1-1 with the defending champions Real Madrid. In Denmark, Copenhagen also drew with Manchester City. That see the English Giants qualify. Borussia Dortmund were also held by Seville, who were earlier on beating them by 4-0. Then in Israel, strangely, the men from Turin went there. They were embarrassed by Maccabi Haifa by 2-0. Paris Saint-Germain with Lionel Messi drew again 1-1 with Benfica. Let's go straight to the fixtures. Today's one, including Liverpool, who are in hot waters. Most of the players are injured. Napoli will be at Naples against Ajax. Kudus will be in town over there. Well, Rangers will be in Scotland against Liverpool. Atletico Madrid will be in the Spanish capital against Club Brugge, whilst Borussia, I think that should be Leverkusen rather, they will play against Porto. Barcelona will be at the Camp Nou against Inter, while PSV will go all the way. They will welcome the German giants Bayern Munich rather, while Sporting will be at Portugal against Marseille. In London, Tottenham Hotspur will play against that team that every Ghanaian wants to pronounce every time because of Anthony Yeboah. We're talking about Eintracht Frankfurt. Well, away for the Champions League, let's focus on the Mundial, which starts in 39 days. And former English international and football legend David Beckham says that the World Cup will always unite the people of the world.
I think that when a country gets to host a World Cup for the first time, it's a special moment because it changes people's lives, it unites people, it inspires children, and this is Qatar's opportunity to showcase what they're all about. No, I've been part of a league in America when I first arrived that had probably 15 teams in the league, and now there's going to be 30 teams in the league, all with their own, football stadiums. So I've seen the change. I was part of obviously an American league that wasn't as established as the European leagues that I've played for. Everybody deserves that moment to showcase what they are about, and that's what football does. Football unites families, it unites people. I've always said that it's so important for the biggest game and the biggest sporting competition to be shared. This game is for everybody, and that's why it's important.
Former English international and football legend David Beckham hoping that, as usual, football will always unite the people ahead of the World Cup with 39 days to go. Well, that's your midday sports. My name is Phil John Quarter. Beautiful Yaya is ready for showbiz.
Thank you, Johnny. Entertainment News is next. My name is Nanaya Tanobwache. Now, the CEO of the National Folklore Board has stated that musician Ayat and others should do well to seek permission from the board before using any historic element for their works.
If you look at the discussion between him and the GTA box, I think he was following up on gaining something out of it because they use it for some footing. And so he also been very... He knows the law because we are all under the Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture. Have you registered with Folklore Board before you are now demanding for the state such a money? If you are just promoting it, we don't have any issue because we need to promote it so that we don't lose them over the years. But when you want to make profit out of it, as he wanted to discuss business with GTA boss. And that's why GTA boss to say that if you want to make business out of it, then you have to move from one step before coming to that step. You have not followed that procedure. Therefore, and we are a government institution, and you are cheating one side of government institution, and you want to gain from one other. Yes, that's why the conversation started.
That's all on Entertainment News. Ken, over to you.
Thank you very much, Nanaya. International news is next.
Cases of cholera in Malawi have more than tripled in the last 2 months as authorities struggle to contain an outbreak that has killed more than 117 people so far. The first case of cholera, which spreads mainly through contaminated food and water, was reported in March in southern Malawi. The UN says that cases across the country have jumped from 1,000 to more than 4,200 since August. Russia has arrested 8 suspects over an explosion that damaged a strategic bridge linking annexed Crimea to Russia. At least 4 people were killed in the explosion. According to the Russia's Federal Security Service, 5 of those arrested were Russians, while the others were Ukrainian and Armenian. The FSB has accused Ukraine's military intelligence service and its director, Krivio Budanov, for organizing the attack. Local media report 33 people who have died in floods and landslides across western Nepal in the past week. 22 people are still missing across the province, and scores more have injuries. Rescuers have described difficulties in getting to the mountainous region amid continuing rain. Hundreds of homes have been damaged in the avalanches and flooding.
That's it for now. My name is Kenneth. Jesse, have a good afternoon.